A 4-0 start to the season was not part of the plan, but I'm not necessarily hating it.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I am your host, Jess Belmosto, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Today, we are going to be talking all about Matt Coronato and the Flames' overall performance in the game against Chicago last night, as well as what these next few days can be used for the Flames and kind of where do they go from here. And I want to wrap up the show just talking about Columbus's beautiful tribute to Johnny and Matthew last night at Nationwide Arena. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Your Calgary Flames every day. I don't think anyone had anything remotely close to this start or the performance so far on their bingo cards for this season. What on earth is going on? Maybe Gaudreau wasn't lying when he said we have a lot of sneaky talent in this room, because the way that this team is getting scoring from every line and production from defense is incredible. Last night, Matt Coronato slotted in again on the fourth line, and he had 2 goals. And he looked great. I thought that he fit in a lot better last night than he did in the game against the Oilers, and that could just be that he got acclimated and he's comfortable and more situated now. His skating looks so much better, and we talked about that a lot in the preseason, but it's carrying over to when it matters, and he looks fast. He looks like a much improved skater. The Flames' fourth line has come up so big, and it has been such a different fourth line than I think Flames fans are used to, because usually, in the past, the fourth line is just big men that throw their bodies around, that go out there and eat up minutes and maybe start some fights or, whatever that the case may be. But we're seeing a real shift in that and what a fourth line contributes to a team. And I think that's incredible. I really like that Lomberg is relentless. He does not stop, and he will not stop. And I think that that's something that obviously everyone in the room benefits from, but also the work ethic that a lot of these younger kids can implement into their game as a pro. Lomberg is the definition of an underdog Calgary Flames story. Undrafted, signed by the Flames, and then went to win a Stanley Cup championship with the Panthers. And then he came back to Calgary. So, it just takes hard work. And his hard work has obviously paid off. I am thoroughly impressed with Dustin Wolf as well, who stopped 31 of 32 shots last night, stopped all 7 of Connor Bedard's shots. So I will say that that's great. I did see someone online, or I was listening to Flames Talk this morning, and someone said, maybe they'll finally start talking about Dustin Wolf's talent versus his size. And by that, they're just referring to everyone who has kind of doubted him and started this dialogue about him being small and not big enough for the NHL. And I just think he's come in and settled in and looked great. And we're in for a treat this season. I like that Huska also said that, he has the flexibility with Coronato to start him on the fourth line and then move him around. He's a versatile player, but he wants to reward him with more playing time. And I think it's great that he is obviously getting rewarded for it, but he's being given the opportunity to show how he does play with other players. So say there is the decision of playing him more often than he is right now, he gets the opportunity and you see what he can do with those line mates. I did not like Tyler Bertuzzi's little spinorama on Martin Pospisil. It looked like Pospisil didn't, want to take the hit, so he moved, and then Bertuzzi's leg kind of a diet slew foot, if you will. I didn't like that. Pospisil's he got up and was fine, but like, can we not do that? And I do want to touch on the first power play. I meant to talk about this at the start of the show. The first power play was one of the worst things I have ever seen with my own two eyes. I could not believe what I was watching. It was just a mess. They looked like they were out there with blindfolds playing Marco Polo. It did not look like a professional hockey team power play. They did not generate any shots. They did nothing, but they did come up big on the second one, so I can forgive them for that. And hopefully we continue to see success on the power play, because I really don't ever want to see what we saw in that first one ever again. That was brutal. I almost changed the channel. Like I could not believe that was something that I witnessed and that was on the ice. But on a much better note, Justin Kirkland and Blake Coleman showed up big as well. They were blocking shots left and right, and that's big. You're already up 3-1 you're up 2-1, and you have your older veteran Blake Coleman laying his body in front of pucks. That shows you how bad he wants to be there and how bad he wants to win. And I think that's great. We need people with that mentality, and that's also been talked about. And we're going to talk more about that next, because I think that it just really drives home what this next chapter of Calgary Flames hockey should look like. But coming up next, we are going to talk all about these next few days, how the Flames can reset and rest during practice and between now and their game against the Seattle Kraken. And we will be right back after this. Flames fans, if you're like me, you love going to live events, whether that's concerts, theater, comedy shows, sporting events, or even hockey games. And Gametime has everything you need for the best experience possible. And I'm not just talking about great prices, I'm talking about great seats and fantastic customer service. Gametime has a new feature called Gametime Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Gametime Picks filters out all of the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. When I tell you I used Gametime to go to the Battle of Alberta on Sunday, I mean that. I was scouring for tickets and I couldn't think of anything, and I didn't want to pay astronomical fees and pricing, and I went to Gametime and I found fantastic seats at the best price, and you can do the same at Gametime. Gametime Picks is a curation that makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And I liked the all-in pricing option, and I just had to flick on a little toggle, and I wasn't surprised by any fees. And you get the lowest price guaranteed, or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. And we are also going to talk about PrizePicks very quickly here. PrizePicks is the great option for you if you're interested in fantasy sports and to place bets on fantasy sports. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money on sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy accessible to you all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Your game all season long on PrizePicks. I really enjoy, putting a bet down, especially on a game where I have no interest in winning, like who wins or who loses, no rooting interest, because it makes it more fun. You can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Want to play PrizePicks along Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sean O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promo tab of the app and view entry. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Justin Jefferson for more than 83.5 receiving yards, and Patrick Mahomes for less than 267.5 passing yards. Download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $50 off, and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. I hope you're having a great week. It is hump day. We have made it halfway through the week. And thanks for making the show part of your day. I appreciate it. And I'm sure the Flames also appreciate this hot start that they're off to. And one thing that's been reiterated since Conroy and Huska have taken the reins is they don't want hostages. If you don't want to be here, all you have to do is say something and something will happen, which I think is a great philosophy to have, because if you don't want to be somewhere, you should be able to leave, and those around you should respect that. But Conroy's also made it clear there's not a fire sale this year. There's not this distraction of, okay, like, is this person signing, re-signing? Is this person, are we going to have to trade them? What's the deal there? Are they requesting a trade? There's none of that. The Flames have their ducks more in a row than they did last year, and there's less to worry about there. And Blake Coleman has kind of made comments on podcast appearances about how he wants to win. And he wants to be play with people who want to be in Calgary and who want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And I think that's great. I think it's great. Obviously, he knows what it takes to win a Stanley Cup, and I would take his word and his work ethic to heart a lot more than I would some other people. But right now, the Flames are off, and they are back to the rink tomorrow for practice. They had 3 games in 4 days. It wasn't a lot of travel. Obviously, they had the Vancouver game, the home game, and then up to Edmonton, and then back home. And then they're back out to Seattle on Saturday. And I think right now it's just about obviously building off of that momentum, but recovering and kind of, getting back into your season routine. And we have seen the physicality of the Flames increase over the past 4 games, and I think that is a good thing if it's done right. I think you haven't seen that a lot in the past because it it wasn't necessarily something that was like I don't want to say preached about, but it wasn't something that there was a real emphasis on. And I think that fourth line, like Lomberg throws hits. Pospisil, we know throws hits. Justin Kirkland, not afraid to throw hits. Like there are players who are not afraid to throw hits and do what they need to do to increase the physicality in a game. And that's great because sometimes that's just what you need to shake up a game a little bit. And I'm not talking like injuring someone or anything like that. I just mean like sometimes you need to make a statement. And I think the Flames have been able to make several statements this year. And it is still very early on. I am very interested in seeing how they look on Saturday. They play one game in the next 6 days. And, I think we all talk, like everyone talks about like momentum, finding your momentum, whether it's in the regular season or the postseason. You are looking to build off of the good and break those bad habits. And the Flames have a tall task ahead of them. Obviously, no one's expecting them to go 82-0, but do they want to continue down the path to success, or are they eventually going to come back down to earth and be more like a team that everyone anticipated? Because, like, pretty much every team crashes and burns at one point. I mean, like, look at Edmonton. What was it last year? They lost like 17, 18, 19 games in a row. Buffalo's gone on losing streaks before. Like, everyone crashes and burns. And that is okay because you have to know how to lose before you can win. And you have to kind of take your medicine with that, and it builds character. It teaches you what you need to do versus what you can't do, what you shouldn't do. And I just think the Flames, they're a good team right now, but I do think at some point something's going to kind of level out. And that should be expected from any team, regardless of if they're starting 4-0, 2-2, 0-4. You have to just go with the flow, and it's a very long season. You don't win the playoffs in October. But it is time for the Flames to rest up, to get themselves together, and just keep trucking. It's not going to be an easy season. This feels like it's so fun right now, and it's such a cakewalk right now, and I am having so much fun, and I didn't expect to have this much fun this season, and I'm looking forward to whatever lies ahead for us because there's so much, that so many possibilities between now and then. So stick around if you would like. I hope you stick around and watch the Flames and come hang out with us every day here at Locked On Flames. But coming up next, we're going to wrap up the show just discussing Columbus's wonderful tribute to the Gaudreau brothers last night. And we will be right back after this. All right, Flames fans. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. If you want to go place a bet that the Flames are going to win the Stanley Cup, who knows? That could happen. Anything is possible. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-plays, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That is FanDuel.com. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. I hope you are having a great day, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. I did mean to mention it in yesterday's show, but the tribute that the Flames did on Saturday for the home opener for Johnny and Maddie, and commemorating Johnny's time as a Flame, was a production. It was a production, and I am so happy that something happened, like something was created, and it wasn't just a tribute video and 13 seconds of silence. It was, obviously the montage of all of his goals and the ice lighting up where he scored from. Like, that is such a simple and beautiful touch. 10 out of 10 presentation. And I think it really hit home how loved Johnny was and is. This isn't something that just stops. I think a lot of us are more conscious of the way that we live our lives. I think we're maybe a little more kinder. We're spending more time with our family. We, are falling back in love with the game of hockey, or whatever the case may be. And last night, Columbus, there was not a dry eye in the house. And I do not, I would be crying. I don't know how they played hockey after that. I really don't. It's obviously started with the patches, the stickers, and then everyone warming up in a Gaudreau jersey and the number 13 on the back. And then the Florida Panthers stepped off the bus with Skittles and purple Gatorade, Johnny's two favorite things. I am shocked that no one said they had plain pasta as a warm-up meal, as a pregame meal. Shocked. But the tribute video that they did, the use of Sky Full of Stars, the same way the Flames used it, like just tying that together, I thought was really beautiful. Having his whole family there was amazing. And then having Sean Monahan, he stepped right up to help Meredith with the kids as they watched the banner go up. That's hard. I don't know how any of them are doing it. I don't know how they played a hockey game. I don't know how they watched a hockey game or whatever they did afterwards. I don't know how anyone did anything. But it was beautiful. They put the banner in the rafters, 13 Gaudreau, 94 to 2024, and it's just like his number is going to be retired, I think, by both organizations. One thing that got me was baby Noah pointing up to the banner when it was going up. That broke my heart. None of what happened last night should have happened. We should still be getting Johnny Gaudreau highlights from this season, but we're not. And it just does not, it's not fair. And, Sean Monahan crying, like, broke my heart. Sam Bennett giving Meredith a hug as, walking down the carpet back to the bench for the remainder of the tribute and whatnot. It's so much bigger than hockey. And I think a lot of us have, like, we kind of grew up with Johnny as a hockey player and, like, watching him, come through the Flames, from Boston College to the Flames, and then obviously going to Columbus. But, like, it's hard because someone who cared so much about their family and everything and devoted their entire life to hockey and their family, like, just gone. It doesn't make any sense. But then Sean Monahan scored last night and pointed right at the banner. Yeah. Everyone was so excited to watch, to see the clips of Johnny and Monty playing together again. And then at the face-off dot last night, opening face-off, Columbus came out without a left winger, where Johnny would be. Sean Monahan won the face-off and passed the puck to Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett held the puck, and they let 13 seconds run off the clock. That's powerful stuff. And it is once again a reminder to just leave things better than you found it. To make an impact, a good impact, one way or another. Find a way and just be a good person. Mangiapane scored last night too. He had an assist on Jacob Varna's goal, and it had been like 1,300 days since Varna was a Capital. So it was his first game back. I think it was 1,318 days. So there were a lot of things that, just lined up and made it feel special. And obviously the Flames won too, and that's very big. I think it's going to be very strange not waking up and seeing Johnny highlights. And I think it's going to take a while to get used to. It's different when he leaves your team and you're like, oh, I'm not going to see any more like wraparound goals versus what it is now. But just a beautiful job by Columbus and, Calgary too. I am very sure that the Gaudreau family will eventually make their way out to Calgary for some sort of, tribute and whatnot. But just as a reminder, be respectful. This family is grieving. We don't need to film them if they're out in public. We don't need to know all of that. What they choose to share is what they choose to share. But yes, that will do it for me on today's episode of Locked On Flames. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you're having a great week and you are able to enjoy the rest of it. Just thanks for making the show part of your day and hanging out with me here. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. And we'll be back tomorrow with some more coverage and any updates on your Calgary Flames.